Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Alter Ego Podcast, episode 193. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, Mr. Ryan.
What's happening?
How you doing, buddy?
Not bad. How about you?
Oh, you know, living life 0 to 60, 9 to 5, 365 days a year. How's the great white north, Mr. Ryno?
It is the great warm north.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, we were warm finally today.
The pasta shredder. How you doing, Nello? I came to see you this Saturday. Much love. I appreciated it.
Thanks. It was so good to see you for that 20 seconds. I like the hug though in between the fucking war.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Just recuperating from that spanking my soccer team got last week, but we'll be fine.
I heard you did not do well.
No.
What was the score?
It doesn't matter. Why? We don't talk about that here. We talk about comics and Marvel and DC. So let's keep it rolling.
I can just Google it.
The people are here. It's 5-0.
Oh boy. That's not good for soccer, huh?
Oh,
Hey,
that's
blowout.
bad.
Hey, those guys can show up.
And there's
Didn't look like it.
and then I looked and
match?
Phillies were getting spanked 17-3.
Again, why are we doing? We don't talk about sports here. It's like Bruno.
17-3 is how bad.
Whoa.
We don't talk about Bruno. Fuck.
Well, sorry for the missed week, gang, but we're here. We're back. We're ready to talk about all your favorite things comic book wise. Everybody have a good week? Good weekend?
Yeah, it was
Had
great.
a great weekend. I put a ton of miles on my motorcycle.
Yeah. That's good.
My
I
nose got sunburnt.
not as many miles on mine, but I put some miles on mine. Ryan, there was a Lorcana thing at Emerald City Comics right up the street. Did you go to that?
No, I did not.
So what was it? Can you explain it?
I think it was just the Rain of Jafar, a new set drop.
Reign of
Jafar.
Jafar. Is that good?
It's up in the air. It's debatable.
Jafar is in Aladdin.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Disney trading card game, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Any
Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it, great.
Did you get any new high value cards out of this set, or was it
I
just
actually
Jafar?
did. I got Wreck-It Ralph Enchanted.
Wreck-It Ralph. Let's
I
go.
hawked and then got another box for. And then out of that, I pulled another Enchanted, which was Shane Yu's sword from Mulan.
And what's the guy that we want to come back?
Who?
The guy that got nerfed.
Oh, yeah. Hiram, Rip, the homie.
Hiram.
So you have to
Harsham.
rebuild your whole deck now, you said? Because that was your original plan?
I played different decks, so it doesn't really. I just pivoted. I went from red, blue to green, steel.
Nice.
And funnily enough, one of my cards that I run all the time is "We Don't Talk About Bruno." It's a song.
We
That's
don't
awesome.
talk about
Hey, so Final Fantasy just got integrated into Magic the Gathering too. Final Fantasy
Yeah,
7.
I heard.
No shit, really?
There's a
Yeah.
Sephiroth card now and a Cloud card. That's pretty awesome. It was cool enough, but it didn't make me want to go
No,
pick up any Magic sets.
I agree. I tried to learn the
I
game,
do.
but I'm just like, me getting into this right now, what am I doing?
It's complicated.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting into things, I have gotten into Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 quite heavily.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of lore. It's a lot of mash them up, and they have a huge release coming out very soon. It's going to add one of my favorite video game modes of all time. It's going to be called Siege mode, but it's essentially Horde mode.
Horde mode.
Okay.
Yep, waves and
Yeah.
waves and waves of enemies that I can kill repeatedly, call in bonuses. But that, you know what? Here's an interesting thing that I love about video games, and I know Rhino's intimately familiar with this. We picked up the Division 2 off of Game Pass.
I saw you guys playing that when I went on Discord the other night.
I didn't want to say anything to Ryan because I know how the Division has done him and how much he hates the Division.
Terrible game.
I think he's
But
crying.
it's a
He's tearing up a little.
7-year-old game that finally has come out to Xbox Game Pass for free. And we just kind of haphazardly jumped into it. And 2 nights later, we have a clan, full squads running, going to hit the strongholds and trying to do the raids and stuff.
Oh, word?
No Dark Zone yet. But yeah,
Oh shit! I'll hop in that bad boy.
Let's
guys.
go. I
He's
knew
bat
that was going to
signaling you,
happen.
man.
I knew it was going to happen.
I
Can
love
I
that
just say that I
honeypot
set
movement
this
right
up just for Ryan?
there. That was so good. I could tell. I'm like, what is he not getting here?
And any of our alter ego fans out there, you are welcome to join the clan if you would like. Just shoot us a message.
Have you guys
the clan
finished
is
the game?
Clan is called The Employed. As we are people with jobs who play this game, so when people see us, they know that we're very serious about what we do.
Have you guys finished the actual story?
I am finished up to the DLC. I have one more stronghold to do, then one more up to the DLC.
Yeah, you might be further than me. I think I stopped playing after the first, maybe second stronghold.
So here's something that I immediately loved. First of all, we picked up a bunch of previous Destiny players that we used to play with, all like the old crew. So guys that we've played with forever. And we just kind of jumped in and started doing it. And then it scales everybody. So if you are level 1 or 2 and you want to run with your level 30 buddy, it scales your damage to his damage. So you may not have the skills, but you'll be able to do the activities that they do and get the XP for the things that they're doing. So I thought that was rather inclusive of new players.
Yeah,
That's actually a pretty good idea.
They probably toned it down for the beginning of the Division 2, man. Those bosses, you talk about the first one where you hated like bullet sponges and whatnot, bro. They were brutal. It was so rough.
And some of them still have some difficulty to them, but there are so many more tools and things that you can do now. I just thought, how cool is it that this game that is, and I said it before, 7 years old.
Well, that's the first division. The first division is 7 years old.
Oh, is it? The second division is the second division is 7 years old. It's the last game I bought on a disc, so it sounds like it is 7 years old.
Are you sure? Hold on, when did Division 2 come out?
Yeah, let's Google that. Ryno, just
Division 2 came out before COVID. I know that. COVID is 6 years ago.
No, it can't be. Division 2 it came out like 2 years ago.
That's not true at all.
It did not, dude.
Not true at all.
The Division 2 came out in 2019.
Ooh.
Wow, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
March
So this is
12th of
coming on year.
2019.
So the reason I say that is because all the updates keep saying year 7, year 7, year 7. So after this will be the 7th year of the game.
Wow.
So yeah.
I probably haven't visited the game either in probably 4 years or so.
Nice.
Fortnite.
Oh yeah, Fortnite is another one.
Star
That's another one
Destroyers.
that's a lot of things to talk about with Fortnite too.
Star Destroyers, really?
Because we've had some pretty intense private conversations. This one statistically is the worst concurrent player list for Fortnite in like, what was it, 5 years?
Yeah. The worst month that they have had in 5 years. Yeah.
Why do we think that is?
Because
I can tell you why. There have been a couple of games that have exploded as of recent, and that is Division 2, obviously, is one of them because it hit Game Pass. But another one that has really exploded and is setting records on Steam is Battlefront 2.
And
there is a
33. That's another one. That's a lot.
So right now, Battlefront, there's a huge campaign for Battlefront 3. EA has already come out and made a statement saying that they don't plan on making a Battlefront 3.
Right.
They're moving on to other franchises. But because of this campaign, a ton of people have been hopping on Battlefront 2 and playing it. There was more people that played Battlefront 2 than I can't remember exactly the numbers. It was like 4 or 5 other mainstream recent games on Steam right now.
If I may interject for a second, I don't want to see a TIE fighter flying through an Asian jungle. That's the problem with Fortnite, is the map doesn't match the Star Wars theme. Well, so this new Death Star mode or whatever's coming out now, let's see what happens. But come on, think about it for a second. You want to get, even if they did like a intergalactic type level where they're on a steel platform in the middle of space or something. But the fact that like I got to go fight Darth Vader in an Asian temple doesn't make any sense to me, which is why
dope, actually.
Which is why I think it's not doing as good as it could. Also, that the fact that you're not hunting anybody. Once somebody gets their loadout, they're just walking around. You're not going to get ammo. You're not looting. If you're not looting, there's no action.
What are you talking about? Still Fortnite?
Yeah, Fortnite.
I'm gonna wholeheartedly disagree with you.
This is an opinion.
I have a very and that's fine. I think I have a very, maybe it's controversial opinion as to why, and it's that Star Wars is old. It's old. It's not something that is going to be grabbing the kids, where the kids are playing the game these days. Now I think they need three things to make any season successful. You need good skins, you need good game mechanics, and you need a good quest line to keep you entertained and wanting to play. Now, Fortnite as a game itself,
bro, it's all about those emotes.
Is Fortnite as a game itself is very entertaining, but it's 100 people drop in, last one alive wins, right? Or whatever the
squad, whatever.
But now it's like we've got all these things that you can do. You load in, you can see any of these iconic Star Wars characters. You can see like all these. You can jump in and jump in a TIE fighter, jump in an X-wing. That's interesting. That's something that you can do. But outside of that, they had these two light side, dark side mission quests that you could do. Ryno and I were jazzed about that the moment we jumped in, because we were like, we're gonna start doing these immediately. The problem was there was no end game. There was no something to earn at the end of the day.
It was it was strictly XP. And I understand the reason for it, because obviously if you're trying to get through the battle pass and the additional passes with the General Grievous skin and everything, yeah, you're wanting to farm XP so you can get those skins. But at the same time, I can just do the regular weekly quests or the daily quests to farm XP. I don't need to do specific Star Wars quests. They should have at least dropped, because there was 10 levels. You had to do 10 mini quests 10 times to complete them. If I was going to put in that much, work, then give a skin for that.
I was saying, they didn't give you a skin, a weapon, nothing.
Yeah, give me something for that. If I'm going to grind those for days on end, give me some sort of reward for that. But to respond to Nello, your point about a TIE fighter and the Asian jungle or anything, I mean, they added a ton of Star Wars stuff to the map itself. It was more Star Wars immersive than the game has ever been. But the whole point of it is Star Wars coming to Fortnite.
Right.
It's not Star Wars becoming Fortnite. It's Star Wars coming to Fortnite.
I honestly think that you think that doesn't match. I think that's amazing, because if I'm going to a standard Fortnite map and all of a sudden there's an X-wing bearing down on me, I mean, the ability to go see Jedi, go get their powers, go get their lightsaber, and then play, that was really great. But I don't know. That's where I go back to it. Is like, some people go, okay, Star Wars, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, Marvel had a great player base. People love Marvel. Marvel's kind of current. But you know what I'm saying?
I don't care about Star Wars like that. You know
right.
what I mean? Like,
right. Like that's a niche audience, and where I think they excelled was having the characters on the map, making it integrated, having those weapons and those ships that you can go in, and getting into the freaking Star Destroyer. How incredible is that?
Oh, that's the coolest thing Fortnite has ever done. Ever.
It is OP, but it's equal opportunity OP. It drops on the map at random. You have to get there first, and you are rewarded for getting there first. That's it.
And sometimes you have to battle it out when you get there. I mean, there's times where 2 or 3 different teams will show up to the portal at the same time, and you're battling it out with those guys. So if you overpowered them, if you kill them and get into the ship, you earned it.
It's not going to win you the game either. In any instance, is that going to win you the game? But like, that's where I think it kind of, in that other aspect I talked about, we talked about gameplay, we talked about quests. The quests fell flat. Here's the other thing.
Are we, if I may, before
let me finish my point. Go ahead. The last thing was the skins. These skins were so here's the epitome. This is the Ant-Man 3 of Fortnite seasons, right? They dropped a absolute dud of skins, and in the battle pass, just a. And then they dropped this customizable Mando skin, which is literally the best skin they've ever dropped in the game, in my opinion. So it's like, okay, are we just hinging on the fact that that's going to be awesome and it's done at a price point? Like, they would have done so much better to make the Mando skin a part of the battle pass, make it the first skin that you earned. Then you're guaranteed to get those players that are paying for the battle pass or whatever to pay for it. And now that the battle passes aren't exclusive, you want to pay for it down the road, fine. But then get all of those customization options locked behind some of these quests.
Yeah.
Where you could do daily stuff to unlock more and more stuff for your Mandalorian and have them look different like they did with the other characters that they've done that for in the past, which is like what's his name? One of my favorite ones, the little stickum guy that you can get all the different pieces on him.
Yeah. The different arms, legs, head, all that stuff. Yes.
Snap, that was his name. So that, like, if you could have done that, and if I get a certain amount of dark side points, I can get some of the black shaders and some of the different helmets or something like that. That's where I think you would have really excelled. But instead, you drop all duds in the shop, and then you drop that and just say, "Here you go. You want to pay $8.99? That skin is yours." And then you just have it.
It's money, though. That's how they make their money. They're not going to cut revenue.
Did they drop a Boba skin?
They did not drop a new Boba skin.
It's the same one.
The old one still hit, but that new Boba skin, we were talking about this. I would have dropped any kind of money if they had dropped the classic Boba Fett. I'd have been like, done, handled.
From Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. See, the thing that really disappointed me about the skins is this. Disney is obviously expanding the Star Wars universe to places we've never seen before. You know, we've got the Acolyte, we've got Andor, we've got all of these shows that we've never gotten to experience. There are so many possibilities for skins that they could have put into this game. The only new ones that we got were Palpatine, Poe Dameron, and Mace Windu. That's it.
And Mace Windu was a shop skin.
Yeah. So the rest of them, every single night. I mean, there was quite a few nights so far in the month of May that we've been playing this game where we would hop in and see the shop, and it would be Luke, Leia, Chewbacca, ones that they've had in the game for like 3 years now.
But devil's advocate, maybe it's a licensing thing. Maybe they can only make so many characters. Or
Disney owns part of Fortnite.
Well, so here's the thing.
Still doesn't mean they won't give them a license to just do whatever.
I think they're one of the majority owners, or Disney's one of the majority owners of the Epic Games now. They are doing a complete Disney island on that game, which is in the roadmap. But it's like, so that's where I'm saying is like, okay, let's say you have a licensing issue. All the stuff that's there, fine. Make it more interactive. Put some of those skins, instead of putting them in the shop and just saying, here you go, let us earn them. We already the damn battle pass.
I don't think it's a licensing issue because Disney owns 100% of Lucasfilm. So if one skin had a licensing issue, they all would. It's not like, it's not like Marvel where Universal owns Hulk and Sony owns Spider-Man and Disney owns the MCU. Disney owns 100% of Star Wars. There isn't anything else that's owned by anyone else.
That's an excellent point. Excellent point.
We are getting the last part of the Star Wars season soon,
which is the
Death Star
takeover.
Yeah, that's Sunday, I believe.
But that to me doesn't fall under quest lines.
The name is Death Star Sabotage.
It's fun to you're right. Get it right or pay the price.
Thank you.
But like to get on the Death Star and do that, that's cool. That's another part of the interactive map and doing things. What am I earning for sabotaging the Death Star?
I believe it's like your squad is fighting the Death Star in TIE fighters
and that's fine.
X-Wings. That sounds dope to me.
That's fine. I'm dope. That's dope. I want to get into it. But what am I earning for it? Is it just a cool moment where I go, all right, that's neat?
Yeah.
Or is it something that, hey, Ryno, we have got to get on when this event starts? Because if we get in there, we get we get a shot from the Bad Batch. We get Crosshair from the Bad Batch if we complete it.
Yeah.
Then it's like we got to get in and do it because that's dope. We can't wait to get that skin for doing it. Not just the experience. I mean, come on. I mean, I get it, but Fortnite's made plenty of money. They don't need to have us pay for everything. They can have some stuff be behind actual gameplay.
And I think that was the biggest disappointment with this season is so interactive wise, the map, being able to fly the ships, all that stuff. It's the greatest season that Fortnite has ever had. The fact that there was nothing that you got rewarded for, there was no reason to grind the game. I mean, it started getting old almost right away. After like 2-3 games of just getting destroyed because somebody was able to get shit before you, it's like, man, why am I still playing this tonight? Like, this is kind of boring now.
It's not just a skill issue, and that's the beautiful thing about Fortnite is because there have been several players who are fantastic. They drop with a crown. You could tell by their movement they're good, but hey, I picked up the gun first.
Yep.
So no, it's not.
We landed one time and blasted 2 crowns. They were like the 49th team to be, or they placed 49th.
So here's what
it's not a skill issue.
Here's what I think from what I found on the internet, the rewards will be: a Rebel Victory loading screen, Empire Downfall banner icon, bonus XP that helps players level quicker before the season is over.
I already completed everything weeks ago.
And some leaks said that there could be a bonus mini pass with Star Wars challenges after the event, but that's not nor confirmed nor denied.
Right. And
it depends on what's in the mini pass. I mean, if there's a couple skins in the mini pass, sure, I'm all about it. I'll grind that.
Yeah, but what's in the mini pass, right? Don't give me Poe Dameron wearing a different uniform.
I can see if I can find that.
You know what I mean? Like, it has to be the juices worth the squeeze. He's the guy from the new series that's the pilot, played by Oscar Isaac.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you don't watch that shit. That's why.
Yeah, I'm like,
he's a pilot.
I've never heard that name before.
Poe Dameron is the guy that played Moon Knight.
Great character in the Star Wars. He was one of the characters I actually gave a shit about in the new series. But I don't know, kind of boring. Before we get into our topics, who wanted to go? Well, who's going first? Nello, did you want to go first? You're locked in.
I don't care. It's whatever.
Let's do it, brother.
Okay. So, headline comes out. James Gunn's movie costs $500 million. They say for it to become successful, or whatever the hell they want to name it, whatever, it needs to make $700 million. First of all, I don't understand what that means. If a movie makes $501 million, it's successful. It made $1 million over production.
You're not in the business of making movies to break even.
Exactly.
Okay, so
have everyone
again, you still made more money than what you made, so technically it would be successful, right?
No.
I disagree, because
if your restaurant made $1 this Friday night, would you call that a successful night?
I mean, did I make $1 over costs?
Yeah,
but you all that labor, all of the people that work for you.
Here's where I'm looking at this, right? When it comes to the movie studio, because that's a little bit different. Like, when it comes to you having a bad weekend, you crank that Soldier Boy, and the next weekend you put some specials out there, you put some stuff that has been on the menu, you crank it, and it's good, and you have a good weekend, you make up for it. A movie studio spends years on these projects. So to say we're going to dedicate time, manpower, resources, star power, marketing to get this movie built, make it what it is, and get it out there just to make their money back, to me, even if you've only made like a 10% profit, that could be considered a monumental failure, because look how much time you've wasted. And if it's a bust, and let's say, just give me a random studio, like New Line. Let's think of New Line, okay? They finally get this deal with somebody like Idris Elba. They get him in there. He's ready to rock. They finally have this new partnership. The movie flops. And then Idris goes, yeah, no, I'm not working with you guys anymore. Yeah. That's a net major loss, in my opinion.
So a major movie requiring $500 million at the box office to break even is actually extremely common in Hollywood. If you have a production budget of $200 to $250 million, every single movie with a production budget of that has to make in between 500 and 600 million to break even. There's a phrase in Hollywood. It's actually called the break-even point. And there's a rule of thumb with the break-even point. It is 2.5 times your production budget. So a production budget of $225 million has to make $500 to $600 million to break even. That's just breaking even. So a couple examples I'll give you. Avengers Endgame had a break-even point of around $550 to $600 million. It made it back in 5 days. 5 days it made its break-even point at the box office.
Let's get to where this whole conversation started. Let's go to the subject matter of this, which is
this. So let me just go off of your math. So it's $500 million. It needs to make $1 billion to break even, and it's
no
700. No. I'm using what you just said. You said it's got to make double. So this costs $500 million.
No, production budget, not total budget. Production budget. So if your production budget is $225 million, your rule of thumb is 2.5 times that in order to break even, because the 225, and I'm just pulling 225 million out of a hat. The 225 million is just your production budget. That's filming, your set construction, your actors, your directors, your writers. The physical production costs 225 million, but there is approximately $200 to $300 million that goes into your marketing campaign. So the total production from start to release is called the break-even point.
Okay.
So if you Google right now, you Google just a random movie. Avengers Endgame break-even point.
Okay, let's do it.
So I just did Superman 2025 budget of $225 million. Okay.
Yeah, so see.
So it's 550 million. And that's just in production budget.
Yeah.
So 250. So it needs to make 750 million to get even if it's got a $200 million PR budget.
Yeah.
And it needs 7. So the PR budget is as big as the production budget.
Yes.
Okay. So,
So
700 million, and that's even. So it needs to make $1 billion to make money.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's an insane amount of money.
That's not just Superman. That's any movie that's got a production budget. Like, so for instance, right now the Thunderbolts is on track to lose $100 million.
That's insane to
me. That's kind of one of the reasons. Like a few weeks ago, we were talking about Disney. I was saying it was in trouble because their movies aren't making a lot of money like they were. Right. That's the reason why. Like, just because you spend a lot of money doesn't mean, and you get it back, doesn't mean that you're making actual money. For where that 500 million came from. So the production budget of the new Superman movie, James Gunn's Superman movie, is 225 million. So if you do the rule of thumb times 2.5, it would have to make around $560 million to be considered a break even.
25 times 2 is 250. So I mean 550. So we get it.
I just did the math. Yeah, 225 times 2.5 is 562.5. Now the reason why they're saying 700 million is that point to be considered a commercial success is because these studios aren't in the business of making movies just to break even. They're in the business of making movies to make money. That's the whole point of making money. Yeah. So that 500-ish million to break even figure and then the 700-ish million to make money is, I mean, that's a valid point. That's a lot of movies that have that sort of production budget.
225 plus 225. That's 450.
Yep.
Okay. You said 560.
It's 2.5, Nello. It's the rule of thumb is 2.5.
The point, if I may. So Thunderbolts was made at how much money? What you said?
I believe it was 180 was the production budget for Thunderbolts. Let me look it up.
And how much money did it make?
It's only at 380 right now globally.
And that's so 180 to 380.
Yeah, so
200 million
and 60. And if it's 160 plus 1 times 160 is 320. So it's
about 180 times 2.5 is 450 million, and it's at what 360, 380. So it's behind by almost 100 million right now to break even.
Because it made about 400 million, give or take. So it's only 60 million behind.
Is that domestic or global?
Well, globally,
global. It was like 360 or 380 global.
So it's made its money back.
It's 369 globally.
No, it hasn't made its money back.
You said sorry. I heard that wrong.
Right. It's only 40-50 million under budget, right? But but again, here we go. Number one, these movies are getting too crazy of an astronomical ask to make between these actors' salaries and all this other crap that's going on. Number two, if you look at it still,
the actor's salary. I don't think the actor's salary is really the problem, but I get you.
But you understand what I'm saying.
I think it's actually one of the parts of them making that money back. That's exactly.
No, I agree.
It goes into the overall cost of the movie.
Production budgets have not really increased a whole lot over the years. They really haven't.
$1 million to make, and it made 55 million.
Titanic cost 200 million to make in 1997,
which was an astronomical ask back in the day. That's close to, like, in inflation numbers, it's almost $1 billion movie.
There's been a lot of movies over the course of the last 3 decades that have cost over $200 million to make. A lot of movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something that has just recently popped up in the last couple of years. There have been $200 million production budgets since the mid-90s.
What movie was it where it was cheaper to build something and blow it up than to use CGI to make it blow up?
That's always the case.
Yeah,
that's always the case.
Yeah, that's why. What's his name that did Oppenheimer always does that.
Michael Bay does that too.
Yeah, there's some kind of piece in some movie where they're like, you know what? It's just cheaper to actually build this.
I think you're thinking Bad Boys did that.
That's what I think it was.
Bad Boys also bought a mansion in Miami just to blow it up.
Just to blow it up. Yep.
Yeah.
What's Christopher Nolan? Christopher Nolan is known for doing full pyrotechnics instead of CGI. So the scene in Oppenheimer where they detonate the nuclear bomb, that was an actual explosion. That wasn't CGI. They just did really good camera angles on it to make it look like a nuclear explosion.
Dark Knight blew up a hospital too, just for that.
Yep.
That was one of the best scenes in that movie, though.
In movie history, I think.
That was entirely improvised.
And he actually says that when he does the double clicker, he just did that out of the blue.
Him stopping, right? That's the
Yeah.
improvisation. Everything else was there, but dude, they told Heath and the safety guys probably freaking out behind the camera, like, "Don't stop!"
But it's shit like that though that made his performance the best performance of all time in terms of a comic book villain, because he stayed in character when shit was getting fucked up.
Agreed.
Here's what I'm getting at. To an astronomical ask of a movie to make $1 billion in these times, it seems fucking ridiculous. I don't care what movie it is. I don't care how acclaimed. I don't care how awaited it is. A $500 million budget for a movie, just $500 million to make 1 hour and 2 hour movie. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but Nello, if it were that big of a problem, you wouldn't see it happen hardly at all. I mean, if you look at
DC going all in,
almost every single Marvel movie has had a production budget of nearly $200 million.
Stop talking over each other here. But I'm also going to say this in regards to DC going all out. Before we go on break, because we're going to take a break here in a second. DC absolutely 100% has to go all out.
Yeah.
Why? Because this is a couple of different reasons. James Gunn's debut of his DCU. You are going with Mr. DC in Superman. He is your best commodity. I don't know about your biggest. Batman's probably your biggest, but Superman is that guy. I mean, that he's one of those that we talked about this on the show how many times.
Yeah.
You ask anybody around the world, they probably know who Superman is.
but aren't they some of the most scrutinized and criticized movies out of all of them?
That's not the point. The point is
I
they
kind of
need,
see what he's getting at, though.
You'll watch a shitty Batman movie. We all watched Clooney as Batman, thought they were shitty, but still watch them. But
Yeah.
Superman,
It's like
we're
what
always
they
like, God damn it, that's just not it. It's missing something to go.
When
all
did
out.
anyone ever say that about Superman?
I said a
Batman
lot.
versus Superman, even some of the earlier Batman movies, the Clooney movies.
hold on. I don't
I
think
do
that's,
get what he's saying, though. It's like one of those things, like if you know it's probably not going to do well, and you're like, here, let's spend all our money on this. Like to
But
me,
Jack has a valid point, because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, DCU has one opponent right now.
right.
Who is that?
Marvel.
Dark Horse.
Exactly. And what is Marvel doing? They're putting out almost every movie is a banger in terms of box office success. They've only had 3 movies on the verge of being 4 that have lost money out of 20 some odd movies. I mean, it's the best-selling franchise in box office history. So your number one opponent is the number one opponent. They're the heavyweight champ.
And
so you have to throw the checkbook at it.
Here's something too. I don't think DC is going to beat Marvel. I don't think they're. And when I say that, the punctuation is important. Not that I don't think they're going to beat Marvel. They who knows how things go. I don't think their goal is to beat Marvel. I think their goal is to do their own thing in their own way. And I don't think there's a better director out there for this or head of the DCU than James Gunn. He's got to make this different. And
I don't think their goal is to compete, but keep up with is definitely their goal.
I mean, well, they want to make money. That's the end of the day. They want to make successful monies. But who would you start with in the DCU if not Superman?
Batman.
Why?
Because he's the more.
So hold on. You keep saying, like, it's weird because like Superman, tired of it, right? I would have honestly put up with a Superman had you have cast Henry Cavill again.
But see, here's the thing: you can't start off with Batman. We've had 3 Batmen in the course of time that we've had one Superman.
The leader.
We've had 5 movies, 6 movies actually, include Batman.
Superman.
And one guy plays Superman. You have to start with Superman because you would eventually get Batman fatigue.
And I don't want Cavill. I think he's excellent. I think he did a great job. I love everything that he does. This is not by any means a knock on Cavill. This is a new universe. You need new people. And if you want this Superman to be Superman for a long time, as odd as this is going to sound, Cavill's a little old to do that. So get this young kid who looks perfect as Superman.
Yeah.
And get him in the red tights because this is the leader of the Justice League. He's the number one guy in DC. He's the most powerful entity that you're going to have to follow if you're going to do a multiversal, multi-universal narrative. You need Superman. Batman is a dude who doesn't kill people in a very violent city. That is the short and skinny of Batman.
And he wears
not,
pajamas.
He's right. He's not even a global protector. He's Gotham City. He's a bankroll for the Justice League. He's a great brain. He's a great investigator. But when you're looking at that dude, that's like saying, you're looking at a football team and going, they've got a really great right guard or left tackle. They can't throw the ball for shit, but they got a great left tackle. You need a quarterback. You need somebody on the team who is going to win and lose games with his every breath, and that's Superman.
What are the 3 lowest grossing Marvel movies?
About Superman though?
But I can tell you this. So Nello, I'll answer your question in a second. I saw something in the most recent Superman trailer that really stood out to me that I don't think we've seen a whole lot with the previous Clark Kents. There's a scene in the trailer where Lois Lane is interviewing Clark Kent and asking him questions, right?
Well, no, she's interviewing Superman, but yes.
But he at the time he's just there, right? I mean, he's got the glasses on, he's in his normal clothes, he's not Superman. And he starts to get enraged.
$500 million.
He's yelling at her. He's getting emotional about it. You can't tell me a scene in any of the previous Superman movies where you saw that kind of emotion come out of Clark Kent. I think James Gunn is going to take Superman in a different direction, and I think he's going to make him vulnerable. Jack has talked about this on several occasions when talking about Superman. He's a god. He's undefeatable. You can't, he's got every power in the book. If there was anybody that could humanize Superman, it's James Gunn. I think that's exactly the foot
he's not supposed
that
to be
the DCU. Let me finish my point, please. That's exactly the foot that the DCU needs to get a jump off of, is humanizing Clark Kent and Superman.
Who cares about he's humanized though? I mean personally, I don't care that Superman gets mad. I don't care that Superman's sad. Superman is impervious. You know what I mean?
I can't believe I'm the one defending Superman, because I've been on this show shouting I don't give a damn about Superman, and I don't. But superheroes, people look at them as this symbol of hope, and this is what you aspire to. People get this Superman tattoo when the guy scores the touchdown in football. I hate to keep using this analogy. They always do the Clark Kent rip the shirt. They don't do the Batman where you throw the batarang. I mean, it's a symbol. So when you look at these heroes, the things that make them successful is when you see yourself in them and you see what can inspire you and where you can go, I feel that. So showing Clark Kent being like, I'm saving lives and your little president is mad that I stopped the war. Like, anybody can look at that and go, I identify with that. That's the truth. There's so many times I've been trying to do the right thing. People didn't like it. They just didn't see my side. It's got to be that way. And whether you think it is or not, or whether you don't like the Trunks or you think Superman is stupid, at the end of the day, Superman is DC. He is synonymous with that franchise. So you have to start with him. You have to throw the budget at him, and you have to make him somebody people give a shit about. And I think James Gunn can do that. So, I don't know. This has been a lot on this one. Let's take our break, and then we're going to get into the other topics for today. So let's take a quick one, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Recording resumed here. My topic for today was about Thunderbolts, oddly enough. I think this room, as we often are, was at opposite ends of whether or not this was a good movie. And then that whole bit got brought up in our text chat. I see Ryan already shaking his head. It's our turn, buddy. It's our turn. Of whether or not it was a good movie. And then we talk about the global performance numbers, and it's going out to say this is statistically, by the metrics presented to our chat and the internet, not a successful movie. And then that sparked me and the black guy here to start talking about why that is. So I don't know if you have a topic today, but if you want to have this one with me and kind of let's have this conversation, let's do it. I don't think we need to have a clear victory here in this argument, but I still think it needs to be said. So I went to our Discord chat and our Facebook page and put out a poll and said, what is most important in a superhero movie? I was very bland with it. I did not give anybody's point of view, and I gave 3 options: star power, narrative, and I'm trying to remember what my third one was.
I can look.
Sorry. But it doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because only one category had votes. Only one. And it was narrative. Overwhelmingly. Hold on, I got it right here. I think, yeah. Oh, yeah, the last one was too many superhero movies. Nobody voted for that one. So, narrative being the most important thing in a superhero movie. To me, looking at Thunderbolts, or this half of the room, I thought narrative-wise, Thunderbolts was great. And then my colleague here brought up two movies that did crazy money. Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Deadpool versus Wolverine. Now, I came up with the argument those movies' narratives really didn't matter. Because versus Thunderbolts, you have to watch a lot of movies, and none of the stars of these movies had their own movie to star in prior to this. Not Yelena, not U.S. Agent, not Bucky, not Red Guardian. They were all maybe in movies, except for U.S. Agent, but none of them had their own movie to star in to be a part of that.
You wouldn't consider Yelena in Black Widow to be a star, a part of that movie?
I did not say a star. I said the star. The star of that movie is Scarlett
actress?
Johansson.
So supporting
100%.
actress. Okay.
Great. She was great.
Oh no,
I think her contribution to that movie was enormous. I thought she did a great job, but the star of that movie is Scarlett Johansson. She's the titular character. So no, I don't think any of them had any movies to star in. And then we look at, and this is what garnered the star power conversation, right? Is because when you look at Deadpool and Wolverine specifically, and No Way Home specifically, you have bona fide stars at every level leading both of those movies. And they did gangbusters at the box office. There's no way you can convince me that having, let's just start with Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Chris Evans, who was in the marketing campaign, not a major part of the movie, but something people wanted to see.
I don't think Chris Evans is what made that movie great at all.
I agree completely. Henry Cavill, Channing Tatum,
Jennifer Garner,
Wesley Snipes,
Jennifer Garner.
I mean, look at all the names. If we took that movie,
Hemsworth,
just that movie, and you bottled up all their gross at the box office, I would guarantee you that the combined group in Thunderbolts doesn't match what those guys have at the box office. It just maybe just Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. I think combined they may not reach that.
Yeah, but I mean,
and then you look at No Way Home, Tom Holland, oh my God, Tobey Maguire,
Andrew Garfield,
Benedict Cumberbatch, Marissa Tomei, Zendaya,
Jamie Foxx,
Willem Dafoe,
Favreau.
Like,
I mean, just not to say that the narrative in Spider-Man No Way Home wasn't excellent, because I thought it was. It was great. Great movie. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Gyllenhaal.
To me, okay. But still, it made gangbusters.
To put that into perspective, do you know what actress or actor in Thunderbolts has had the most successful career? This is going to put it into perspective. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, I was going to say from Seinfeld.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is probably the most successful actor or actress in Thunderbolts, comparatively speaking to all of the people that he just named. Obviously, the financials were going to be off the charts different.
But she's also like been in more things than these guys put together have
That's
been.
Right. You're right. But the numbers are the numbers.
Hell, she's even Larry David show.
Yeah. She doesn't compare to Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. That's exactly the point that I'm making. Is the fact that it's her.
Universe. Yeah. There's no universe when we put movie A and movie B next to each other. You put these casts next to each other, and people choose movie B. Unless you're just an overwhelming fan of Florence Pugh and Sebastian Stan and Wyatt Russell, it's just no contest. So that was my thing, is like, I think Thunderbolts did great for what it is. I thought the narrative was great because it was different than most superhero movies.
Now, see, for me, like, you could put Ryan Reynolds and you could have put freaking Hugh Jackman in Thunderbolts, and it still would have been a trash movie to me. Like, the actors don't necessarily make movies. How many movies have we had that have been like smaller actors that are like these shit movies, right? The star power to me doesn't really correlate, because even like in Deadpool, I almost forget Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool because you don't see his face most of the time.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Ryan. Let me ask you a quick question.
Can I finish though? Like, can I finish?
Right? Get you some.
So,
Let's do it.
like, and actually, I've been thrown off now because of that. But like, the star power, it does matter to an extent. But it's one of the things that I said too before. If they would have made Deadpool versus Wolverine another one of those like freaking multiverse, this or that, some crazy other trying to do something else movie, and then not just make it a Deadpool Wolverine movie, I don't think it would have been as successful. Spider-Man movies have all just been good from the very beginning. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, the story is great, and
You don't think Robert Downey Jr.
Because when Tom Holland first started his first movie, no one knew who Tom Holland was.
Sure.
He was just a new kid on the block.
You don't think
That's why they introduced him in Civil War and not his own movie, though.
Could be, but I don't.
And Robert Downey Jr. is in 2 out of 3 movies.
Let me ask you this question, Ryan. Had Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds been in Thunderbolts, would it have made more money?
Maybe.
Well, that's the point that we're making right now.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. But at the same time, too, I mean, Hugh Jackman was in how many X-Men movies? How those X-Men movies do?
Sure. Yeah.
I actually think the movie
How
did
did
bad
Wolverine-
because people were worried about the writing Marvel's been going on. The
I
sliding
agree with that
scale
100%.
Marvel has been like, everybody was hyped about the new Captain America movie, and then they're like, oh, I don't know. And then you're like, well, I'll just wait for this to go to streaming.
What
You get
about
what I mean?
You don't think the characters had anything to do with that?
No, and I also think we also talked
I'm
about
not
this in
gonna
the
lie,
chat.
Captain America, yes, because I was like, man, I ain't finna go watch a black ass.
I think the
movie.
surprise when they told everybody hashtag new Avengers or whatever the hell they use, asterisk the new Avengers, I think that killed the whole surprise of the movie, and people are like, well, what the fuck is the point of going?
I think that was a stake in the heart of that movie.
I really do, because I'm like, oh, cool. What? I just paid $40 to go see it on a Tuesday. I already know the ending. Awesome. Thanks.
Right.
I don't think that new Avengers thing had much to do with it. I think Nello makes a great point in terms of the writing fatigue, just because we've gotten, we probably went about a solid 2 years of maybe mediocre quality production out of Marvel, and then all of a sudden they drop Captain America and they drop Thunderbolts within a 3-month span on us. I think a lot of people were hesitant to say, I'm going to go see this in theaters when I can wait until it comes out on Disney Plus. So that's a very good point.
Yeah. I'd love to see the streaming numbers for Cap since it's come to Disney Plus too.
Is it out already? I'm gonna watch that.
It was the number one streamed Marvel movie last week.
I was actually gonna watch it last night.
Was it the number 1 stream program on Disney Plus?
No, it wasn't the number 1. Well, no, hold on, I take it back. I didn't see that particular stat.
Okay.
The headline that I saw was Cap is the most watched Marvel production since it debuted, is what I saw. That doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't the number 1 watch show, period. This just said Marvel specifically.
I would love to see the metrics on that.
Because I mean, the people are like, oh, well, it's free now, so I'll watch it.
All right,
Yeah.
free-ish.
Because I'd be willing to bet you a Buffalo nickel that says when Doomsday drops, it'll do well over $1 billion. Well over $1 billion.
I'll take that.
Do they need to market Doomsday?
No, they don't.
You think chairs could be all their marketing?
I guarantee you they don't even have to release a trailer for this movie and it'll do $1 billion.
I don't think so. I don't think people really care that much. I think that's like your average person. Doomsday, who doesn't care?
That would be very telling for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
If this movie does poorly. Do I think it's going to? No, not at all. I think the
thing is they don't have to market for it either, because Fantastic Four is going to lead directly into Doomsday, and now that Doomsday is delayed until December, Spider-Man 5 is going to lead directly into Doomsday, or Spider-Man, whatever Spider-Man it is, 4 or 5, whatever. Both of these movies are going to lead directly into Doomsday. We get the gist of what's about to go down, and who's the number 1 dude in Doomsday?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. You don't have to do any marketing for this movie.
I'm very nervous for it.
I'm not gonna lie, I could care less. Like I I've said it before, and I'll say it again 1,000 times. The only thing I'm interested in is Spider-Man. All this other Doomsday, because it's Doomsday now, but then it's going to be the Fantastic Four, and it's going to be Galactus, and then it's this guy, and then it's Kang now, and wait, nope, he got in trouble. Now it's this guy. I just want to see good movies, man. And Marvel and Wolverine and Deadpool, good movie.
This is very
Spider-Man, good movie.
It's weird to be having an Avengers movie that doesn't feel like it's been led up to, right? Like, I know all these movies are led up to by their predecessors, but the first Avengers was how many movies?
Well, what really led up to Ultron, though?
Well, if we look at the cinematic,
I mean, do we even have?
Because there was absolutely no talk about
let's see.
Ultron in any of the movies. I mean, yeah, we had the Infinity Stones, because in Avengers: Age of Ultron, you got the Mind Stone.
Yeah,
but there was no other alluding to Ultron's existence beforehand.
I'm looking up a timeline here, MCU timeline, just so we can see. So the Avengers comes out. After that, you have Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 3, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Guardian of the Galaxy 1 and 2, and then Avengers: Age of Ultron. That's a lot.
The only narrative, though, that tied into Ultron, and it wasn't even like Ultron didn't even culminate this narrative, was the Infinity Stones.
Well, Winter Soldier, Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World. Yeah, those all three tied in, and those are your three big heroes. Guardians, they played into it too because they're part of the Stones. So all of these lead up to that, not Civil War, leads up to the big Iron Man or the big Avengers movie, right? Which was
Ultron, right?
No, Ultron is just honestly, Ultron, it's an Avengers movie, but it's just another saga movie. To me, Avengers: Age of Ultron is just leading up to Infinity War.
To me, it just introduces Vision. That's it.
What do you think will get more streams on Disney Plus week 1? We already know Andor's been out for a while, but do you think Andor will outstream A Brave New World in 1 week when the 1 week numbers come out for A Brave New World?
No, I don't.
You don't think so? Let me ask you another question. How many minutes do you think Andor was watched in the first week it was out?
That's a silly question. There's no way I'd guess that.
Give or take. It's
6.
It's less than 1,000 minutes.
6 minutes.
It's less than 1,000 minutes total.
Less than 1,000 minutes.
Mhm.
Wait a minute.
That doesn't make sense. The show is.
I mean,
isn't the
it's
show like 50
it's
minutes
less
long.
than 1 trillion minutes long.
Oh, a trillion and 1,000.
I
was
misread
like,
it.
what
I
do you
misread it.
mean?
You're right. I misread it.
No, it's okay. Less than 1,000.
That's
Was I the only one that watched this motherfucker?
Oh shit! Some dude in his basement watched it 5 times.
I'd say
It's less than 1 billion.
500
I'll even
million.
go, 481 million minutes.
I don't know what that means.
So that's the total amount of time that Andor spent playing on somebody's television across
For the
the
first
world
week,
was
it's
480 million minutes.
4,881.3 million minutes. I'm just
Does
curious.
it show caps?
No, not yet. It only came out May 28th, so those numbers
All right.
won't come out for at least.
Oh yeah, it hasn't even been a whole week then.
a lot of cheeks probably got.
I was just curious. I've been watching Andor, just not to take over, but I was just curious what you guys thought. I think Andor is going to do more than Captain Will streaming. I just think people are done. Like the Marvel fatigue is real.
Yeah.
But see, the equivalent of Andor outdoing a Captain Marvel or a Captain America movie would be like Bucky outdoing a Star Wars movie. I mean, that's it. Andor is such a Star Wars already is a extreme niche, right? Andor is an even more extreme niche on top of Star Wars because you have a very specific group of people that want to see the expanded Star Wars universe. Your average Star Wars fan might not care about Andor nearly as much. Like you love the expanded Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I love Andor. It's the best show they've ever made. My interest level, comparatively speaking to yours, is lower.
Yeah.
But I'm a far bigger Star Wars fan than you are.
I would definitely agree with that.
So I don't think that Andor.
So at the end
I
of
don't
the
think
day,
it will. I don't think it will.
At the end of the day, I don't know. This was basically just a discussion or a topic more so than looking for a definitive answer because it's a subjective at the end of the day, whether or not somebody's going to like Thunderbolts or not. But I think it's impossible to ignore star power in a superhero movie. Name me a superhero movie other than Guardians.
To be
The
fair,
Watchmen.
Justice League. is, I mean, it's a different Marvel thing, but it's a superhero movie. You got freaking Ben. You had what, Ben Affleck? Not that one. Who was in
Which
that
one again?
Just because they're white doesn't mean they're Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah, they're white. You Ben Affleck.
What movie were you talking about?
I mean,
sir?
but you had like Gal Gadot. You had like Henry Cavill. You
Oh,
had big
Justice
names
League.
in Justice League,
Yeah.
and it still was trash, bro. Like
Momoa
Zack
Cavill.
Snyder. Zack Snyder.
Who's the redhead girl?
Zack Snyder.
What's the redhead girl's name?
That's
And
what
what?
they do.
Amy Adams?
Yeah, Amy Adams.
Who's one of the greatest actresses in Hollywood right now?
You had that crazy dude plays the Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't see him again.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, what's his name?
Cyborg guy was probably the least known out of all of them.
Black, is he black?
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, let me ask you another question.
Yep.
So let's say Justice League didn't have Henry Cavill, it didn't have Jason Momoa, it didn't have Gal Gadot, it didn't have Ben Affleck. Let's say it had stars to the level of Thunderbolts.
Brandon Routh.
Would it have made $700 million globally?
It would have been a flaming dog.
Let's say it's the exact same script, it's the exact same production, it's the exact same movie, but it didn't have those stars. Would it have made $700 million globally?
I can't say they can or it can't. Maybe.
That's exactly what star power does to a movie. And honestly, Justice League is probably the greatest example of that, because Justice League was a flaming pile of dog shit. And it still made $750 million globally because it had Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, it had Gal Gadot, it had all those huge names, and that's what kept it afloat.
It also had a great PR scheme.
I mean,
that was just riding that Zack Snyder.
I think it's one of those things too, where like it doesn't matter if everyone's good as in this movie. Let's say Ocean's 11 was great. You went and saw it on a Friday night with all those guys that were in it. If I came back and like, yo, this movie's trash, and everyone's like, this movie's terrible, the next day the numbers aren't going to be the same.
Sure.
You know,
I also think that we're coming at this conversation from two different levels, because Justice League absolutely is trash, and you're looking at it from a good movie standpoint. We're talking about it from a financial standpoint.
Sure.
No, I mean a financial. I think, like I've kind of been saying too, kind of it's one of those things where like the Black Panther is a perfect example. It didn't have a lot of star power in it. Who was Chadwick Boseman?
Right. No, I agree.
Even the
He was a decently known actor, but he wasn't a household name. I don't think at that point.
Like Michael B. Jordan was.
And Michael B. Jordan was, but everyone went and saw that movie, and then you had motherfuckers showing up in dashikis and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Like
his mom was a big time actress, isn't she?
Angela Bassett?
Yeah.
Yes.
But also,
that's also a cultural thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, that was the first, well, not the first, but it was the first in our cultural standpoint Black superhero movie that came out and was huge.
Combat that. How did the second one do?
Without Chadwick Boseman?
Yep.
Without the star?
Without
Angela Bassett was nominated for an Oscar, so that's how it did.
Yeah, we even all know what that was, right?
Well,
wait a minute. What just happened?
No. We're not going to go into that. But
should.
I still think that losing your star in Chadwick Boseman severely hurt Black Panther 2. To think that it didn't is crazy.
Yeah, it did.
Are we the suckers that keep giving these guys money with shoddy writing just because they're willing to hire a A-list actor to play the role?
I mean, I think a trailer does mean
at that point, you guys are saying the role matters and who you cast matters. Are we the idiots that are like, give me the good guy that's playing the actor, but if you write shitty, we'll still do it? Like Love and Thunder.
According to...
We still went and saw it, even though it was a heaping dog pile of crap.
Well, there we go. Words are hard. Yeah. But I still think that when you're watching that, Chris Hemsworth is a big enough draw, and there's 3 movies supporting it at that point.
That you've already seen, yeah.
Russell Crowe,
so
Natalie
Portman.
Portman.
Take that swing, and you're gonna go see it. But
and that was more of a I hope it's good than this is going to be awesome. It was a I hope, but it looked like it was going to be a buddy cop movie, and that's exactly what it was.
Because
can you name me one franchise that has ever been globally successful and became a global phenom with nobodies as actors?
Star Wars,
Fast and Furious.
There you go. No,
Star Wars is probably the one.
It's the only one.
You trying to tell me that Paul Walker and Vin Diesel were known names when Fast and Furious?
Vin Diesel was a huge name when he did Fast and the Furious, bro.
Before that,
Knock Around Guys and Triple X.
Riddick, he was in Riddick, wasn't he?
Oh, Triple X might have. Riddick did not. Riddick and Knock Guys were out for Triple X.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah,
and Paul Walker was Lance.
Yeah.
In Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
He blew out his knee because Billy Bob had a concussion.
He didn't. So you don't get
Florida State.
I guess Tyrese was a big draw. He was in a lot of things, and
Yeah, he didn't
He was
really-
in Fast 2.
Yeah, he was in Fast 2.
Gal Gadot.
But the point is, it star power absolutely does exist. When you have a piece of dog shit, you throw a giant name at it and hope that it doesn't flop in the box office. When you have a great movie with nobodies, odds are it's not going to do as good, but that doesn't mean the story is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, like Gambit.
Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely make names. Norman Reedus is one.
Gambit's just not going to be there.
Yo, bro,
Made
it's gonna
by
be
Boondocks.
amazing. You watch what Channing Tatum's gonna pull off that Remy LeBeau is gonna be. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
If he can tone it down with his French mouth, then yeah, I'm all about there being a Gambit movie with him.
Let's
But that shit was way too much in Deadpool.
It's just, yeah. I agree with Deadpool. Can I speak to your dialect, coach? He's not leading a movie with that accent. And I'd go even further to say Channing Tatum is not a leading man.
Whoa, Magic Mike, hello.
Bro, what was
He
that?
wasn't even the lead in Magic Mike. Matthew McConaughey was.
Oh boy.
They shared it, but I mean, like, he's not a leading man. Name a movie where he is the most popular star that's been a popular film.
I don't even remember any of his
21
movies.
Jump Street.
Nope.
Jonah Hill.
I could care less about the fat kid.
Ice Cube.
What's his name?
Oh.
The Marine that became a stand-up comedian.
Rob Riggle.
Rob Riggle was better in that movie than Channing Tatum was.
He was a head guy in the Lost City.
I think he's great. Also, Lost City has Sandra Bullock and Brad Pitt. But anyway, I digress. It's going to be interesting to see. The next thing that we have to look forward to is what? Is Fantastic Four. Why?
And Superman.
Fantastic Four. When is Superman out?
Superman is out is it? I know that Fantastic Four is the 25th, so 2 weeks before that.
Really?
Yeah, Superman comes out first, and then 2 weeks later, it's Fantastic Four.
Can't wait. I'm actually starting to get kind of hyper Superman. Never thought I'd say those words. I know we didn't have a lot of time for topics because we all kind of jumped on each other's. Ryno, did you have anything that you wanted to? I mean, we're at almost a time, but if you got something, let's hear it.
The end.
I was going to get him with it anyway. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an action-packed episode of the Alter Ego podcast here at 193. I can't wait to see what happens at 194.
We talk about the aliens in Colombia. That orb is something from outer space. It has been proven, and I will get to that next week.
Proven by who?
People like me.
Screen Rant.
Hey, that's also not a bad place too. You keep saying that they're not right, and you know what? Out of 100, they may get it 50 to 60% of the time.
And you know what? I'm gonna end my
See what
life.
kind of grades that gets you in college.
As much as I respect good old Jack Austin, he's the same guy who believed that Blade was the thing when Blade was gonna happen.
Blade is going to happen.
And he was wrong.
Blade's going to happen.
What, you guys want to put another $1 on the year? We are when
There's
it comes
no
out.
way. Yeah, 2035.
Shit.
I'm telling you.
Give me an over-under of the year 3000, and I'll bet.
Nobody. Nobody cares about Superman. Star power ain't it. It's about good movies.
Lots of people
Just
care
being
about
good
Superman.
movies.
I'm going to do another poll in the Discord, in the group, about who is Mr. DC.
Ooh,
See who wins
I mean,
that.
DC only exists because of Superman.
yeah.
See you guys next week.